Me again, as usual, hair still looks terrible because there's no hairdressers in quarantine, obviously. So I'm going to do some sit-up-ish variations, sit-ups, crunches. For me, these are exercises that don't really fit into the dish category. This is probably a very arbitrary division, but in my mind that makes a bit more sense. Crunches and sit-ups are just a really good way to work your abs, which are great in pretty much any sport. We want that nice, sexy proximal stability, working the lovely transverse abdominis that we all love to not see at the beach. So without further ado, here are some sit-up variations. So, the first one is knee strokes. So I'm in my normal sit-up position, my feet are just a bit further away from my bum. I have my hands on my thighs and I stroke them up to my knees and down. This is a bit different to the typical crunch that you see, which to me just strains my neck. So I quite like these. They're a good sort of resting crunch variation. So the second one is going to be a bit more of a crunch, but we're going to have one leg hovering off the floor and the other one at 90 degrees. Hands behind the neck, don't put too much pressure on it, and we're just going to crunch towards the knee. You can do it alternately, switching every few, and you can always hold the individual isometric contraction with one leg and then the other. This is also available as a double, so I bring both legs up to 90 degrees and I crunch and also hold. So the next one is a similar version, but it's scissor crunches. So for this I'm still going to have one leg at hovering above the floor, one at 90 degrees, but one hand is going behind my head, and the opposite hand to leg is going to reach forward, reaching through the shin to get a good side crunch. Yet again, you can swap every few, making sure you do the same reps on each side, and like before, you can hold. Then, back to the floor, we have penguin. So penguin, we are reaching our feet with our hands, keeping our head and shoulders slightly off the floor. To make it more difficult, your feet want to be further away. That is difficult. To make it less difficult, have them closer. Again, another oblique exercise. To vary this, we can do ankle taps. So I reach for an ankle with my opposite hand. So for that, I want to reach up and over. Again, you can make it more difficult by having the feet further apart. I like to have mine a little bit closer. So, the next one is a tuck sit crunch. So we're not going to go to a full tuck sit, which is like this. We're going to go to our crunch position, bring the legs to 90 degrees so your shins will parallel to the floor, and we are going to crunch. I much prefer these to the sort of standard crunches that we all do at school. Again, for this one, you can come up and hold it. So one option would be to hold for 5 seconds and then do 5. The next one is when we're going to either hold this crunch position or bring ourselves down to the floor, and we're going to do a scoop. So I'm pointing it down to the floor, straightening it up, bringing it back in to the top position. To make it more difficult, I come up to my crunch. You can reverse it by going up and down, however you wish. You can also do both at once, which is not more difficult. So, the last one we're going to do is do a scoop push. This is bordering into the dish territory. So what we're going to do, we'll be hitting our sort of crunch V-sit position, crunch tuck sit position, and pushing both legs at the same time out with the feet flexed and back in. So I do my crunch, come up to my tuck sit position, push, push, out and in. That one is quite good to work the legs as well as the abs to get more of a full body warm up. So there you are, there are 8 sit-up / crunch ab kind of dishy variations that you can now add to your repertoire of ab exercises. So happy ab training.